Well, I feel a little bit like Pittsburgh native Dennis Miller. Good evening. And what can I tell you? The Pittsburgh Penguins blew a third period loss to the New York Islanders, this time here at PPG Paints Arena, and they lose 4-3 in overtime. Where do we begin? The first two periods, brilliant. The Penguins look like Stanley Cup contenders. They got the puck deep. They worked the puck low. They worked low to high. They absolutely dominated the New York Islanders. I guess overall the shots don't matter. I suppose even the opportunities don't really matter when we talk about the first couple of periods. The Penguins did everything they had to do. They did everything they wanted to do against the New York Islanders. And then the third period. The butt-clenching stat that I tweeted out in the second intermission was exactly this. The Islanders in the last 9 games had outscored their opponents 15-1. After Thursday night, make that 17-1 and counting. I thought the interesting quote was Tristan Jarry when he said, "They wait for us to make mistakes and they can capitalize." So the Penguins actually kind of know the Islanders are waiting for them to make mistakes. Now, let's dive into a little bit of the, oh, you know what, I forgot. Actually, this is a little bit of a Q&A, so, and I'm back, because I do have the questions from Twitter that I want to get into. The tactical mistakes you can check out on the PHN Plus report card, and I'll put the link here in the video story as well. You noticed how loose the Penguins became. Late in the game, you have to be tight, you have to be dedicated, you have to be, on your marks. And yet the Penguins were kind of throwing the puck up the ice. Jeff Petrie, Chris Letang. Jeff Petrie's kind of pass to the wrong side of Drew O'Connor goes right into the Penguins' net with about 3.5-4 minutes to go. And then with the 6-on-5, with the Islanders' goal empty, Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel kind of bunch at the top of the zone, which I don't understand why both are at the point like that. Crosby leaves the slot guy open. Letang jumps forward from the net to the slot guy, leaving Anders Lee wide open to poke it through Tristan Jarry. So I think that's probably a good spot to start with this Twitter Q&A here from PPG Paints Arena. They're tearing it down, but they're back here Saturday. I'm not quite sure what's going on here at the arena. If it's on a hockey game, I won't be here. Stephanie asks, how have we not learned how to hold on to leads? You know, I've asked players about this. I kind of, I pushed Mike Sullivan a little bit on the road trip about protecting those leads. And they all kind of, to a man, say we have to keep playing the same way, but we have to worry about details, puck management, game management, which is, a flowery way of saying we can't make dumb mistakes. The reality is, after 64 games, this is the team. I don't care if the third line's a little bit different. We'll get to the third line, because actually, if there was one Penguins line that stood out on Thursday night, it was the third line with Drew O'Connor, Mikael Granlund, and Jeff Carter. His late mistake, gaffe, blunder notwithstanding, that third line was brilliant. They dominated the Islanders on Thursday night. But the team doesn't have that lockdown defensive whatever in their DNA. They just don't have. They go for the kill shot rather than locking it down. You look at the Islanders throughout the entire game. There are times when you will see all 5 Islanders collapse around their net. Even there aren't 5 Penguins there, but there will be 5 Islanders there. They take care of their net. Maybe the Penguins do. Just for a mental reset, need to make some changes to their structure and systemic play when they have a lead in the third period. Because clearly, it's not working. That was their 9th loss when leading after 2 periods. They've lost 4 times in regulation and now 5 times in extra periods or shootouts. I don't know if that leads the league anymore. I knew they led the league when they had 8 a couple of weeks ago. If they don't lead the league now, they're certainly amongst the leaders, you know. So how they not learned, it's just not their style. And I see a lot of fans, why is Jeff Carter on the ice in this situation or that situation? I mean, look, the reality is that's the Penguins' third line. Do you want Evgeny Malkin out there in a defensive situation? And to be honest, at 6-on-5, look, Crosby and Gensel and Letang made the mistake tonight. You know, I don't think Gensel made any mistakes, but I think Crosby got over aggressive instead of dropping back when the puck moved to the other side of the ice. Clearly Gensel's men, Crosby kind of went with the puck rather than falling back. If Crosby falls back towards the slot, Letang doesn't jump forward, and if you give a mouse a cookie, I guess then you have to give it a glass of milk too. Stephanie also asked if Jari looked still injured. I'm going to call your attention to something. If you watched Jari play tonight, maybe it was after the whistle or as the puck went a different direction, he wasn't anchoring. He wasn't digging in with his skates when he went post to post. He was sliding on his pads. That's a mistake, or that's I shouldn't say a mistake, but that's breaking down fundamentals, a breaking down of fundamentals. So something's not right, whether it's just how he's playing, you know, his mental state, or physical. You know, I don't know. But after the game, he didn't specifically say he wasn't 100%, but he kind of alluded to the fact that he's not playing 100%. He's not feeling 100%, you know, mentally, physically. You know, he's still trying to get in the rhythm. He doesn't feel in rhythm. Mitch asks, are fans starting to feel apathetic rather than just frustrated or angry? Actually, no, I still think it's I think it's apathy on days off. I think fans are tuning out a little bit on days off, and they come back for the games hoping to see something a little bit different. That's just my take on it, based on Pittsburgh Hockey Now numbers and engagement. And I mean, look, if fans weren't engaged, would this place be singing Fire Hextall during the Columbus game? I think so. But I also think it's borderline. If they go into the off season and changes aren't made, and the fans feel like they got older and worse off this coming summer, I think there will begin a wave of apathy. I mean, we're not talking Pittsburgh Pirates apathy here, but yeah. When I think when y'all didn't get your new toys last summer, when you didn't get Vincent Trocheck and you got Evgeny Malkin, oh, you poor things. But I think that kind of did begin to lay the groundwork for some apathy until there's some new blood and some fresh winds blowing around here. I do think the apathy is a danger. Tina, why won't they change the power play? Look, post-game, Mike Sullivan said no. We are not considering changes. That unit has been one of the best in the league since January. If you look at their expected goals for, they're in the top 3 since January. No, Mike Sullivan's not making changes. I just wonder what league he's referring to. That power play looks brutal more often than it doesn't. Sure, they rise like a phoenix every now and then and look brilliant. But 2 shots in 6 minutes of power play time tonight. That's awful. That's unacceptable, and at no point did they look dangerous. Now, Sullivan cited the fact that they, on the one power play, they had almost exclusive zone time. and they got good looks. Well, sure, they were looking at the net from 40 feet away. That doesn't necessarily count as a good look. They just weren't, they weren't very good. They weren't dangerous. They weren't aggressive. They weren't engaged as a power play unit on Thursday. Yeah, I'm with you folks. Whether it's Jeff Petrie at the point, whether it's sending a message and sitting somebody, dumping someone down to power play number 2, just to say, maybe you put Granlund on the mid wall, or you do something to change things up and just tell your team that it's not good enough. I'm not sure. It certainly couldn't be worse than 2 shots in 6 minutes, could it? Josh says, I might be in the minority, but if the Penguins had halfway decent goaltending, they don't lose tonight. Josh, I think the Penguins did get halfway decent goaltending. Even if Tristan Jarry maybe wasn't on his game, he certainly made, I think, all of the stops he should have made on Thursday. What the Penguins aren't getting are those stops that a goalie shouldn't make. Hudson Fasching, squeaking that puck between Jarry's toe and the post. It's kind of a breakaway, and you can't fault a goalie in theory, but boy, those extra saves make the difference between winning and losing, and tonight it did make a difference, not getting that extra save. So how you want to classify that, I suppose it's up to you. You are allowed to make the save. You want your goalie to make that save, but I guess when your goalie is a little bit uncomfortable or struggling, you're not going to get that. You can't hang it on Jarry, but you can say Jarry didn't bail them out either. So I guess you can parse my words as you choose. They definitely have to keep running Jarry out there as much as they can to get him comfortable. I mean, just it's kind of funny. When Casey DeSmith plays, everyone's like, oh, he's terrible, get him out. But then when Jarry's struggling, we need Casey DeSmith. Well, out of the frying pan into the fryer, pick your poison, I suppose. What shouldn't be lost as we wrap this little Q&A up here from PPG, what shouldn't be lost? The Penguins actually did get a point. They now lead the Buffalo Sabres by 6 points for that wild card. Ottawa is actually playing right now as I record this against, they're playing out in Seattle. So it could be, I guess at worst, they will lead Ottawa by only 4 points for that final wild card if Ottawa does beat Seattle. That's not terrible news, right? I guess Ottawa would close to within 3 points if Ottawa wins over Seattle. Sorry. And what shouldn't be lost is when the Penguins are dialed in, when they play like they did in the first 40, 50 minutes on Thursday, they're a really good team. I mean, they are really good. The third line, Granlund in the middle, I thought he was really good, and Jeff Carter was pretty good, and Drew O'Connor has been an animal for a few weeks running now. That's something I think you can certainly take out of this game. All right, that's gonna do it here from us, for us, from PPG Painter. It's been a long day, can you tell? They got a good suit on, right? Catch me 11 on the ice, WPXI, Saturday morning at 9:30. I don't know if I'm doing Final Word Sunday because of the late Penguins game, or the afternoon Penguins game. I think this is my week off, and then I get 4 days in Manhattan. Oh no. I'm a sucker for Midtown and pizza at 2 in the morning, or a gyro, or whatever else I can grab off the street. It's my happy place. So I will see you all. Thanks for watching. Send those questions and check out Pittsburgh Hockey Now and PHN Plus. Your support means the world to us and keeps Dave, Shelley, and I going. All right. Have fun. We'll talk soon.